So now I thought that would be a good start to piggyback off that, and then now we'll get into some more realities. Hey, anyone have a credit card in here? Okay. Okay, be careful with that credit card. Boy, those ladies got a great conversation going. Every time I look at a little powwow back there. Okay, so credit cards. Be careful. I speak from experience. That first getting credit cards, boy, it's just easy to swipe that plastic and start getting all this stuff. And then after 2 months, oh my gosh, this is what I owe. Because if you're not responsible for with that, then they could add up, and then you could be in a scenario where it's hard to pay that stuff off. So be careful. All right. But anyway, here's how a credit card calculates your how much interest you owe them. What are you ruffling through my papers over there for? Oh, you use that as your desk up there? Apparently. Okay, so first of all, look at this. Yowza. This is awful. See that annual percentage rate? This is like a loan shark. All right? If I don't pay them, they take out my kneecaps or something. If you have a bad credit rating, or if you got a credit card right now, raise your hand. Okay, credit card, anyone? You do you? Because it looked like you wanted to, then no. Okay, credit card. If you don't pay off your bills, you get a bad credit rating. And then when you get a bad credit rating and you try to get credit somewhere else, they jack up your interest rates. That's actually a true story. So I think this is a little high, but if you don't pay your bills, this is what will happen to you. Or if you get a credit card with an 8% annual percentage rate, let's say, and you miss a couple bills, kaboom, they're going to jack you right up to that 21% rate. They don't care. They can do it, and it's written in your contract that they can. So be careful on those credit cards. They are a little bit risky. I don't want to get into the whole month thing. Does anyone know how many days there are in June, though? June 30 or 31st? Anyone? It's actually 30. So you got to be careful. Each month is different. So when we're going to calculate what our daily interest rate is, and then our daily stuff and this and that, how many days are in this pay period that we're going to owe them. So this is 30, and this actually adds up to 30 right here. This piggybacks off of that when we look at this chart here. So looking at these two tables, how a credit card works, how they get their average daily balance, and from that calculate the finance charge. It's a weighted average. So the starting balance from the previous month's stuff is 287. And you had 2 days of this. So it just started off with that, the first 2 days of this period that you're going to owe them interest. Then, something I got to do in my beautiful car out there, I got to get an oil change. So it looks like at Red's Garage, we got an oil change on June 12th. So that was a charge, all right, and our rate went up. I'm sorry, our balance went up, and for 6 days, it was at 333. Sorry. What's the matter over there? Then, I'll color this in green. You made a payment, and you sent it out, and they got it on June 18th. So for 4 days right here, it went down to 183. All this is a weighted average. What is the average daily balance over the 30 days spread out? Okay, plus then you went back and got some gasoline or I don't know, snacks and a lottery ticket, a scratcher, if you will. And then you went to the paint store for whatever reason. Go ahead and throw it on my disk. What am I going to divide this all by? 30. And then again, the whole thing at the beginning, it could be 30 or 31, depending on what month you're dealing with, or 28, right? If you're in February, and that would be that. So that's letter A. What's your average daily balance? Let me yank that number off my sheet here so we don't have to do calculating on our own. So again, I know I'm doing this consumer math, making you think about some things in life. Credit cards are definitely a thing you got to be careful of. We'll all probably have them. Just be careful on how you accumulate debt on that. Now B, what is the daily percentage rate? You can read that up there. Well, our yearly percentage rate is 21%. And I'm probably going to do the same thing wrong that I did the other two classes. How many days are there in a year? I guarantee, what do you think a business divides by, though? Not 365, but what? 365, anyone? 0.25 they average out. Or this is the year where they have 366 days. So maybe that year they take their percent divided by 366. That's probably what they really do. So it's one of those years where we have 365. So 0.005 dot 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 dot. Now save that number on your calculator. I didn't round because what I want is it all the way out. All right. So that we can do the next thing. What is your percentage? I'm sorry. What is your finance charge? It is your average daily balance. Couldn't think of the word. So average daily balance. At average, that was 250.72 times the daily percentage rate. That's why we save that in that calculator. And this is why we need a daily, because every month is different. This month is a 30-day period times 30. So that is your daily finance charge times 30 days. And then that's what you end up getting for D. Well, D is what is your new balance? 433 is our finance charge. Then for D, what is your new balance? Remember, you ended with 281. So we had 281 at the end of the month. So it's 281, lost it, 0.94 plus 433. That equals 286.27 to start the next period. So this is simple math, folks. I'm going to ask you to do this on Thursday, maybe in some scenario to get you to see that you can do simple math and think about finances and see what that credit card company's doing. Formula, right? Again, like I said, not too exciting, but I hope you're listening, especially in these next ones, because we're talking about life things like, being financially stable as an adult. And not only that, being financially successful, even though you may not make a lot, you can still, like I showed in the beginning, afford to invest something, do something, not nothing, like I told my CAT students when we did CAT last year. But here's this crazy formula. What did I say the test would be Thursday? Probably open notes, right? So again, circle that we may have to input that stuff, use that. And it looks complicated. I'm not saying I understand it. I could probably try to understand it. But I'm just treating it just like with you guys, shoving the numbers and get an answer. Okay, so look at this couple. They plan to get that's actually not a bad car, $20,995. You can get a decent sedan for that, brand new, or a really decent used car if you wanted something bigger, so on and so forth. And then somehow you have $7,000 down to knock off the principal. So what we're going to have to finance is $20,995 minus the $7,000, which is $13,995. Now this rate seems reasonable. Then again, listen to what I said there before. It depends on your credit rating. Also, your credit rating actually affects everything as far as what you're going to get as a finance rate. So better credit rating, you get better percentages, no doubt about it. Okay, so just for formula plug-in. Okay, what is our monthly payment going to be? We're not going to look at the table. We're actually going to use this formula and just leave it at that. I am going to show you, those that don't have a calculator, that has a fraction button. How many people don't have the fraction button on their grapher? Okay, well, no one raised their hand. That may mean they just don't want to talk to me. But I'm going to show you, if you don't have the fraction button, this is how you'd have to type it. Actually, I'm missing a parenthesis. I'm going to get real big brown. This is massively important. That starts the numerator. This is if you're not going to use the fraction button. If you have a scientific calculator, then this is what you need to do. Times, actually all calculators do order of operations. So this is 0.045 divided by 12 times. So you're allowed to write it just like that. You don't need parentheses actually. All right, times, now I do need this parenthesis because this is all raised to a power, so I need that. The rate is 0.045 divided by 12. Caret, fumble. Now, there's a problem here. What does 12 imply? What does 12 imply in that formula? What do you think that 12 means? Months. So do I put 48 in for T, or do I put 4? Do I put 48 for T or 4? And it's actually 4. Okay, the 48 months is what goes in here. So that's where 12 times 4 goes into play. Notice what I did. I put what's in the caret in parentheses. All of that is the exponent. And then the reason I need this one is this closes the numerator and then opens up the denominator. So divided by, right? And then I'm going to write the denominator down here because I ran out of room. So for a regular calculator, it's not hard. It is tedious and long. You got to make sure you have every symbol, and that's what we're testing you on, your carefulness. I'm going to need a denominator parenthesis, and then I'm going to need a parenthesis for 1 plus r. Same thing, caret. If you just want to put 48 in there, that's fine. That's 12 times 4. It's the same thing. Minus 1. This is why I needed the brown parenthesis, because I need a denominator parenthesis opened up. I need a numerator and a denominator separated out. Okay? And then what this tells you is your payment would be $319.13 per month. Okay, that's not too bad. That's only a 4-year loan. That's a pretty decent car. $13,995. Actually, $20,000 with your $21 with your down payment and all that. But yeah, car payments can be kind of pricey. So, hi everybody. Okay, suppose you can afford a car payment of $250 a month. Hey, you go to the car guy and say, there they go again. You say, so you go, I don't know what I want, but I know I have a budget that I think I can afford $250 a month. What can I get? And then they check my credit rating, and then you know what? We're offering this. We can offer you a 3-year loan at 4% interest. That doesn't sound too bad. So then we go ahead and calculate. By the way, the lower the years, usually the lower the interest rate. I just told you I had a 6-year car loan with that Ford Explorer. And I think I got 1.9% financing on that, which was amazing. I just said the opposite of what usually happens. Sometimes they offer 4 years, 0% financing. You ever hear that in a commercial? Okay, it's pretty amazing that you can get that. So what this is the principal or the monthly payments $250. So $250 equals, and what I don't know is P. All right. Here we go. This went over like a lead brick. The other classes. How do I get P by itself? What can I simply do to both sides of this equation? Well, somebody kept saying multiply by the bottom. No, I can multiply by the bloop, 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 reciprocal. I can multiply by the reciprocal of this fraction. Multiply by the reciprocal. Whatever I do to one side, do to the other. And then this would cancel out completely. And then all I have to do is take 250 times the reciprocal. So 250 times, now watch this, I'm going to write this wrong. 1 plus 0.04 divided by 12, 36 minus 1. This is wrong because it's 250 times all of this, which implies a distribution to the 1. But 250 is getting multiplied by all of that. You need those brown parentheses. Now I'm showing you how you type it on your good calculator that has a fraction button. If it doesn't, same rules apply, like all this stuff that I have written here, how you'd have to string it along. Divided by, I guess you'd access your fraction button again, so you do 0.04 divided by 12. You could use parentheses if you wanted. Times, you need these parentheses. And then raised to the 3 years, 3 times 12 is 36. That's where that comes from. 3 times 12. So you'll be asked to do this. I'll ask you to write the numbers in and then be able to get the answer. And then this tells you that you can afford, the car guy comes back by crunching the numbers, you can afford this car. Something that's right around $8,500. Used, you probably have to get a used one. And there would be some decent ones that would be right around that price. My car costs $1,400, so my beauty out there, brown with nice rust trim along the wheel wells. All right, then I love this last one, and I hope we get. I don't know. Hey, if there's anything you remember about me, it's this. All right, not the screaming. This financial thing that we're talking about here. So let's highlight what we got here. 15-year mortgage at a 5.25% interest rate as opposed to a 30-year mortgage. And then, yes, what did I just say? The more years, they usually charge you a higher interest rate. That's in the housing industry for sure. They do this. Now, the power of this example will show you, well, the difference between these two and the difference what you end up paying the bank. And I'm going to piggyback off this tomorrow with another calculator, online calculator about mortgages and how you should function in your life with those. Just giving you tidbits just from experience. These things that can actually make you financially healthy, let's say, not necessarily rich, but just financially smart. Okay, $85,000 house is very small. We're probably talking about a 2-bedroom condo, and it really depends on the area that you live in. Prices of houses are much different in certain areas. So I'm going to do this with the good calculators where we can do a fraction button. 0.0525 divided by 12, just plugging in the numbers, times 1 plus 0.0525 over 12, and then 12 months, or 12 months in a year, times 15 years. So this is 12 times 15, whatever that number is, divided by, and then I'll save you the boringness on the online of typing in the numbers in the next one, but just make sure you know how to type it and get your answer. Caret 12 times 15 again. Whoops, missed the 1 there. Minus 1. And then just for purposes of, you can check on your own as you're writing these down, this becomes 683.30, and that's what you're paying the bank per month. Okay, and that's on a 15-year mortgage for an $85,000 house. Now, offline, I'll plug in the other numbers for the 30-year mortgage, and then we're going to talk about a comparison example. All right, so we're just talking offline about interest to the bank, and this is going to show you very simply what you end up paying the bank over the life of a loan to actually give you one more nugget of knowledge that should actually you should take with the rest of your life. All right, remember the first one in red was a 15-year mortgage. Now let's analyze these. This is why you do a 30-year mortgage. This is why I had to do a 30-year mortgage back in 2004. We just had our first kid. I got a house that was a little bit bigger than our last one. So a 30-year mortgage, you pay less per month. You see that, right? So it's less per month. It works in your budget. The house, the more expensive the house is, the more these are separated. The more the differences are kind of large. But look at the difference. If you can afford this, watch. We have to do this 12 times a year. That's per month times 12. Wrong. And then, but we only do this for 15 years. So this is going to show you what you pay the bank in the life of this loan. And this is reality, but notice this reality to the green one. For an $85,000 house, you are going to pay the bank $122,994. So that means about $38,000 of this is interest. You're going to pay the bank $38,000 in interest, right? If I subtract $85,000 from this, that is the interest part that you're paying the bank. Whereas this one, you are going to pay the bank 12 times a year for 30 years. And that number is $181 011.6 when this house only costs $85,000. So you are nearly going to pay the bank over $100,000 in interest over 30 years. So if you can say to yourself, you know what, I can afford this, we can make this stretch, and in a couple years, hopefully I'll get a couple raises. You'd want to go this route because in the long run, that's your money. And then the other thing is this: in 15 years, you're done. This person over here has another 15 years to pay off their house. Your house is paid off, and now you can use your money for something else. This is so powerful, the difference. Not only have you saved yourself about $60,000 to $70,000, you also are free of that debt. You own your house outright, and then you can use that money for something else. So I think that's a very powerful thing to show you guys, to get just like plant that seed of being financially stable. So